Hello everybody, and welcome back to Burrows. We're still trucking along in Mark's route. He's not doing great. He was a little upsetty before. We had dinner. No, we had brekkie at a diner. Aw. And on our way out, Gray opened his mouth. I assume Mark is angry again, given this first line of dialogue. Not dialogue, this first line of narration. But I guess we'll figure out how fun this little road trip is going to be. It's been a rough couple of hours. There we go. I don't know what happened. Maybe the food wasn't enough. Or maybe that wasn't the real issue to begin with. All I know is that once we left the city, things changed. Mark's responses grew shorter, his tone colder and colder. I started to hate the sound of my own voice. I gave up arguing and let him focus on driving. The most he's spoken in the last hour was a quiet, "fucking hell," after skidding on a patch of ice. He hasn't relaxed his posture since. We're together now, right? A proper couple? Aren't we supposed to be able to work through any problems as a team? We've been through enough that this should be simple. But it's like talking to a brick wall. Out of the corner of my eye, he feels imposing, 10 feet tall, shimmering with darkness. This isn't how I wanted to feel. Not a second time. Not a second time. I thought I was doing myself a disservice by constantly comparing Mark to Edian, but for once, my brain might actually be doing its part to protect me. Doubt is healthy. Skepticism is normal. Mark told me so himself. He's been stuck in survival mode for over 24 hours now, and, of course, he's beyond frustrated at the situation. As his partner, I need to at least try to put him at ease, for both of our sakes. I can't rely on him for everything. So, have you ever been this far upstate before? Yeah. What for? Family trip. A long time ago. Oh. Oh. Was it fun? He repeats the question to himself under his breath a few times, struggling to comprehend it. I can't remember. I probably thought it was fun at the time. Couldn't pay me enough to spend a day with my folks now. I can relate. At least as far as my father's concerned. Mother's tolerable, then? Deceased. Ah. My condolences. Don't worry about it. I've had time to get over it. I wonder what she'd think of me now. Like if she would accept you and I being together. I feel a bit of tension, release as he acknowledges his feelings for me. I didn't know I needed that. No, not that. But I can't deny being morbidly curious. If anything, she probably knew... What? If anything, she probably knew about my situation before I did. He shrugs. I couldn't care less about what my parents think of me. I stopped living for them after Josh died. Once they gave up on him, they ceased to be family in my mind. Might as well be strangers. Of course. Sorry. I didn't mean to bring up any bad memories. They're not good or bad. Just memories. He chuckles and shakes his head. You already saw the bad ones, remember? Against my will, mind you, but they were on full display. I cringe as I remember those 3 framed paintings. What the hell could they have... What the hell could have been behind that third door? They don't change how I feel about you. Bullshit. It's not... I'm serious. Virgil's trying to drive a wedge between us, to make me doubt you. And I'm still here, aren't I? Even after the photo. I made my choice. I should be flattered. But right now I'm just scared. You have every right to be.
No, Gray. I'm scared of you. Your devotion. It scares me. This self-sacrifice and admiration doesn't feel earned. Not after how many times I've snapped at you.
You took me in and gave me a place to stay when nobody else would. That'd be enough to make most people form a sense of loyalty, don't you think? And you feel the same way, don't you? We love each other. It feels pathetic to say it out loud, like I'm trying to justify it to myself.
Not to this degree. Not a normal person.
That's the second time you've suggested I'm abnormal. Do you not want me here?
No, I do. Damn it. It's coming out all wrong.
He eases up on the gas pedal, and another wall of snow starts pelting the car. Guess we couldn't outrun the blizzard after all.
I don't know. My life before this was painful, but it was an ordinary way. But in an ordinary way. I knew that being gay would make my life harder. I knew that there was a chance Josh could overdose. It used to keep me up at night, but eventually I learned how to deal with it. And then you showed up, bringing all of your joy and comfort, along with a nightmare hidden in the shadows.
So he does blame me. Great. Sorry.
No. You don't need to apologize. It's not like you knew what would happen.
Oh, okay.
Fuck, just let's change the topic. This isn't helping. I'll put something on.
He fumbles around with the buttons on the dashboard, switching between channels until he finds a station he likes. Oh.
This one plays oldies. Figured you might hear something familiar.
Ah, I appreciate it. The music isn't enough to quiet my thoughts. They just grow louder to complete the noise. To compete with the noise, sorry. He blames me. He hates me. I'm burdening him, and now he's responsible for cleaning up my mess. It takes all of my self-control not to open up the door and leap into oncoming traffic. It's painful just to exist. Why would he make me feel this way if he loves me? He has to know how he sounded just then, right? Could it be that nobody's ever loved him enough to tell him? Do I have to be the one? I know he said he wanted to change the topic, but I can't leave it like this. I do it because I love you.
What?
The devotion. Staying by your side. It's all because of that. I don't want to live in a world without you.
That's,
What other reason do I need? I already threw my old life away.
Yes. I'm very aware that, and that's what stresses me out.
His voice is deafening in the tiny car, but I don't flinch.
You getting hurt for my sake hurts because I love you. You ignore every sketchy thing and make me feel guilty because I know you deserve better. If this is supposed to be your big second chance, you blew it, pal. I'm a fucking goner.
That's not true.
Do you remember how you felt when you thought that monster was going to kill us? Or when the elevator crashed?
I wince. Like it was somehow all my fault?
That's how I feel every time I look at the bandages on your arm. Guilty! God. You're so busy blaming yourself for things you haven't done that you're blind to what you're really doing. It's honestly kind of impressive.
Tell me then.
You think that sacrificing yourself to save me is noble? That it'll make you atone for your sins? But all that would do is push me over the edge. And let me tell you, I'm nearly there already.
His voice is shaking, sorry.
But do you think I couldn't put the pieces together? The blood on the canvas, the angle of the gunshot, would have been from...
Stop it.
You chose your words very carefully. But we both know what that was. It must have been interesting to see it from the other side.
God, no! I hold my stomach, struggling to keep that image from resurfacing in my mind. It was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. I'm not letting that happen. Even if you're the perpetrator.
Relax. That's why we're...
What? Unmitigated disaster? What? Let me see if I can...
That's why we're driving in the middle of nowhere. The unmitigated disaster.
He pauses our argument to honk at a car drifting dangerously close to our left.
Anyway, that doesn't take away from my point. I don't want you to die for me, Gray. Even if you love me. Even if you think there's no other choice.
I just... My arms fall to my side. Isn't that what you're supposed to do for someone you care about? He shakes his head and laughs, seemingly amused.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but most people would save themselves.
No.
Humans are weak. Even a mother sacrificing herself for her child is done out of instinct.
Fine then. I can live with being weird if that's the case. I cross my arms and sink back into my seat. Maybe I grew up reading too many fables with heroes who sacrificed themselves for the greater good. Maybe I've been selfless to an irresponsible degree up until now. That doesn't change the fact that I'm devoting myself to protecting you. If it makes you hate me, so be it.
I know I could never hate you. That's not fair.
That's the problem. I don't know. Sometimes, it feels like you're saying what I want to hear. Like your words are borrowed from somewhere or someone else. And then, when your really feelings come out, the whiplash leaves me doubting myself.
I'm sorry, that's just...
He sighs.
Oh.
These CGs are very good. It's very good.
I lost myself, Gray. I think about myself 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, and all of them feel like strangers. I wouldn't have proof of any of what that happened if there wasn't photos of me. Of us. Even at work, if Lauren wasn't so gifted at note-taking, I doubt I'd remember what half of my projects are. Everything I do lately has been half-assed. It's impossible to focus. All I know is that I keep trying to get back to the way I felt before Josh died. I try to think of what the old me would say, what a better me would do in the situation. Maybe those memories are embellished, or made up, or something, or sometimes I crack. I lash out. I curse. Because I can't deal with it anymore, Gray. It's too painful. Every year my body aches more and more. It hurts just to move through life. The benefit doesn't outweigh the cost. I can feel myself dying every second I'm not distracted, and the distractions have become ineffective.
I don't want to be your latest distraction.
Huh. So you think you're my cure?
I didn't say that.
Sorry. I'm just venting because I'm the guilty one. That I should be the guilty one here. The truth is, I pulled you into my mess, knowing it would end badly. It always ends badly.
A cold pit forms in my stomach as I remember the murder rumors AJ told me about. How many other vagrants have you brought home?
Not a lot. Maybe 6 or 7 over the past 2 years.
That's a lot, right?
When it gets cold out like it is today, and I see someone who reminds me of Well, there are some who look less threatening than others. Let's just say that.
And were you as affectionate with them as you were with me?
You're asking if I fucked them. Fucked them.
I don't care about that. I'm asking what you did with them when you were done with them.
Where did that come from?
We're getting everything off our chest, right? What happened to the men after you took care of them? I grip my pants, hoping to God I'm wrong.
They left on their own accord. Things just never seem to work out.
Left back to the streets? He shrugs.
It's not like I kept tabs on them. They don't exactly have phones.
None of them ever tried to reconnect with you? You didn't visit their old spots to see if they were still alive?
No.
So if I told you that some of them have gone missing, what is this?
What are you implying?
There's no point in being coy if we're laying everything out on the table. I heard a rumor from a homeless kid in the city about a wealthy man who would...
Gray.
I jumped to the sudden silence. What?
Sorry. Couldn't concentrate anymore with all of that noise.
He switches to a new station and holds his right arm out towards me, angling it so his sleeve falls away from his wrist.
Check just under the thumb.
I awkwardly rub through the thick fur, stumped at how this would answer my question. Is this a scar?
This was from the one before you. A larger guy, and some breed of hound.
He pulls his hand back and places it on the steering wheel, not breaking eye contact with the road.
He was probably the biggest outlier of the men I'd brought home in the past. I was at my most desperate for affection, so I ignored the signs of danger. By the time he was in my apartment, he was all over me. Didn't bother to wash up first.
He shudders.
But it was fine. Rough as it was the kind of affection I could put up with that.
It was some kind of affection, sorry.
And then a knife to my throat.
Oh.
Told me to hand over my valuables, and that his friends were waiting outside if I ever ratted to the cops.
Mark.
What was I supposed to do?
I would have done whatever he asked to protect my life.
Right on the money. But for once, this was where I'm the weirdo and you're normal. As little as I valued my own life, I wasn't going to let snuffed out by some brute, so I resisted. I reached behind the couch and grabbed a marble statue. It was modern, so I couldn't care less if it broke.
Okay. Kind of based.
His knife caught my arm, and I brought it down over his ugly fucking mug. The police wrote it off as self-defense, and sent that thug straight to Rikers Island. I don't know if he ever got tried or released back to the streets. I really couldn't care at the time. That day was probably the last time I felt like my life mattered enough to protect. And what was the reason?
He forces a laugh, but it doesn't lighten the mood at all.
Because he wanted my stuff, my expenses, meaningless possessions that will crumble to dust in a million years. I thought, how dare this fucking ingrate lay claim to my shit? I worked hard to earn this. My stuff symbolizes my value in the world. Isn't that a gas? It could attempt to kill a man over some paintings. But not to save myself.
He looks expectantly at me, and I force a chuckle.
It's all so fucking funny.
Yeah. I'm sorry for even suggesting you could have been involved with those disappearances.
I don't blame you, given the circumstances. I have to wonder where the other ones went.
He lets out a deep breath and leans against the driver's side window.
Ben.
Israel? Raffi? Mo?
Parker? Fred?
He turns to me and smiles weakly.
And Gray. Those are names I'll never forget.
That was a cute smile. Did you love them too? He shrugs.
Maybe, but not in a healthy way. And they were in no position to refuse my help. Sick, ain't it? I just can't help myself.
Enough. You helped someone, even if it was for a selfish reason.
You can say that all you like, but we're here because of that compulsion.
This again? I told you. I'm at fault here as much as you are. My feelings haven't changed.
It's hard for me to believe that, okay? It's not due to lack of trying. I know you're not using me. I know you love me for me, but I don't.
You have to try.
If only it was that easy. I just can't. Not yet. I know I need to change, but who's supposed to hold me? Accountable. Supposed to hold me accountable. You? The masses? God?
You. You'll do it because deep down you're a good person.
To you. To my boss, Lauren, that owl, and your ex. You're making assumptions.
You're making assumptions about how other people feel.
Maybe.
He growls under his breath and frantically searches his coat pocket for a cigarette, briefly taking his eyes off the road. Careful.
Yeah, I got it.
He finds what he's looking for and plunges it into the cigarette, lighting on the dashboard. After mumbling bottoms up, he inhales it, holding it so long that the end begins to crumble into ash.
Oh, all right.
He shivers for a moment before turning his steely gaze my way.
You love me?
Yes. So much.
Why?
How am I supposed to answer that?
I just want to know.
This feels like a... What is this word? Sisyphane? Sisyphine? A task. What answer could I give that would get me off the hook? I love you because you scratched every itch. You're attractive, you're kind, you live a lavish lifestyle, you're cultured, and most importantly, because you love me back. That alone is enough for me. He seems unmoved. And you? He looks away, genuinely flustered.
I'll tell you later.
Not fair.
Don't be a brat.
I can't tell if he meant that in a playful way, or if I'm bothering him, but I keep pressing. Come on, no secrets between lovers. I'm interrupted by him slamming a fist on the dashboard.
What good is love if we're stuck running forever? Maybe.
He cuts himself off. No, go on, say it.
Hush.
Say how you feel.
Enough, Gray, please.
I need to know if we're going to keep doing this.
You're my reason, okay?
I assume that's... Mark? Oh. Everything goes quiet as his words ring in my ear.
I'm pressing on with life because of you. Despite everything. And maybe I resent you a little for giving me a reason when I was so sure about ending things just a few days ago.
Unable to find the words, I stare vacantly at him. I feel both elated and crushed by his honesty. I'm not going to apologize for giving you a reason to live. But I'm sorry that you've had to hold back those feelings for so long.
Don't apologize. It's my cross to bear. But still, the idea of it finally stopping sounds so appetizing.
A sudden swerve sends me falling back into my seat. Shit! What was that?
What's the matter?
He jerks the car to the left, and I feel the seatbelt dig into my stomach. Stop it!
Why? So you can keep me alive just to live every night afraid for my life.
Oh. Oh. We merged lanes, and the car shakes as we cross over a patch of bumpy asphalt.
My life isn't worth the hassle, Gray.
Yes, it is. Not to mention I'm here too.
Hell, it's all a game, isn't it?
He takes his hands off the wheel and floors it, sending us hurling into the endless expanse of white before us.
Nothing we do matters, so this should be fine, right?
You're fucking crazy! I push him too hard. This is my fault. I make a feeble attempt to grab hold of the wheel, but the seatbelt keeps me just out of reach. He starts laughing maniacally, tears streaming down his face.
What are you gonna do now, Virgil? You fat fuck.
Please, stop this! We both gasp as what looks like a solid wall of snow suddenly appears. Mark! I brace for impact. At this speed, it'll be certain death. I wait and wait. Huh? Too scared to open my eyes, I listen for any sign of life next to me. Mark's belabored breathing is barely audible, hoarse and wheezy. We gradually lose speed until the car stops completely. Mark? Mark?
No fucking way.
Are you hurt? What's... I sit up and look around, unsure of where we are. In direct contrast to our previous environment, we were now surrounded by greenery as far as the eye can see. A shining sun hangs overhead, and I suddenly feel severely overdressed. Hmm. You know, I think I'll end the part here, everyone. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around.